What's up, everyone? This is JJ98 of the Unofficial Commentators. We took a week off. I know you missed us, but we came back with reinforcements. We did a basketball-heavy episode. We got some special guests, and try to see how these suckers try to break down my man Russell Westbrook. It's not even fair how I put the smackdown on him. Stay tuned to the Unofficial Commentators. This episode begins now.
And we are back. Yes, another edition of the Unofficial Commentators brought to you by JJ98 and Paki. Man, are we excited to be back after taking a week off. Holy Week is around the corner here for us Dominicans, or spring break, however you want to call it. Break is coming for this weekend. So Easter, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So we got some good stuff. We got some special guests today. Our buddy Omar used to be a quarterback for the Central Crows. And we have our buddy cousin Juan.
That was harsh. That just sounds like some. Used to be a quarterback. That sounds like some has-been shit. God damn.
I mean, people retire, bro. Why you got to make it sound like that? Why you got to make it sound like that? People retire all the time.
Let's call him a retired quarterback. That sounds better than used to be. Like, jeez.
I'm going to start playing basketball.
I didn't say used to be. I said used to play. You see, you have to understand the difference.
I'm going to run this tape back later and listen to what he's saying. All right, so we're back, man. We took a week off. We came back. We brought reinforcements. I'm guessing by the guest list, you've already figured out this is going to be a basketball-heavy show. At this time, it is currently 10:47 p.m. That means that the Miami Heat have officially been eliminated from playoff contention. So let's take a quick look at the playoff preview. How do we want to start this? First to last? In the Eastern Conference, it looks like the Boston Celtics are playing against the Chicago Bulls. This seems like a game I would be really interested in the 80s and early 90s. What do you guys have to say about the Celtics and the Bulls?
First of all, wait, I got to say, man, I'm glad Omar saved face for the podcast, for the YouTube video, even though Miami just got eliminated. So credits to you, Omar, for showing your face. I thought you were going to hide under a rock for a while after Miami lost.
Well, he tried. He tried. He tried. He unplugged his speakers for a minute.
Y'all wish.
All right, so
all right, so we're not going to talk about a team that didn't make it. If we're going to talk about a team that didn't make it, might as well talk about the Knicks. So Boston and Chicago.
Right.
Ain't nobody thinking about no Knicks.
Boston and Chicago, man, I think this is going to be an easy one for Boston. I mean, the way that Boston sets up defense on the perimeter, Chicago is missing a shot. They don't have any perimeter shooters. I can easily see Avery Bradley making it really uncomfortable for Jimmy Butler, really uncomfortable for Dwayne Wade, whoever he has to cover. I mean, Avery Bradley is a beast. Isaiah Thomas should do what he knows how to do best. So I think Boston's going to take this series easy. I'm not sold on Chicago. They've underperformed all year. I don't see anything that's going to make me think different for the playoffs.
Right. Isn't Wade injured anyway?
No, he was actually playing the other day, even though he was supposed to be out for the rest of the season. So who knows with Wade, man?
I saw a highlight of him finishing a dunk today, so he's playing. He's at full capacity, apparently. But speaking of Wade, Omar, what do you got to say about the Bulls and the Celtics? Fucking beautiful. Now we lost the sound again.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you now. Go ahead.
Yeah, my fault. I took it off mute. The Bulls with Rondo have been playing really good off the bench ever since when Wade went out and Rondo started getting more playing time. They've been playing better. Wade is back, but I still think that the Celtics are the better overall team, even though I could see the Bulls taking it 6, maybe even 7, because Celtics basically are just Isaiah Thomas, and that's it. But I don't expect too much from that series. Celtics should win. If the Bulls could take it, it's because of Jimmy Butler and Rondo.
Well, they play a very well team game, and they play very good team defense. And like Pac mentioned, Avery Bradley is gonna make it very difficult for either Jimmy Butler or Dwayne Wade. Then the rest of the team plays good defense. Marcus Smart plays tough defense. So then they don't have shooters to make that defense work. So
Right.
it's I don't see it going that long. I see it. I say 5.
Yeah, man. Avery Bradley gets in your face, and he does not let you get to the rim, and that's what the Bulls need to do to score, get to the rim. So they're gonna have to get some production from the bigs. I can see Horford holding it down versus Chicago easily. So, man, I think this is going to be an easy series for Boston. It's not going to be dramatic. I don't think it's going to get much attention either. So, I don't think we should spend much time on it either.
I think the only real advantage, the only thing about the Bulls, I think they do have, in my opinion, a size advantage, but it's basically a team that plays close to the rim versus a team that plays away from the rim. Even though the Bulls are the team that play away from the rim, even though they're the bigger team. They might have the advantage in rebounds, but that's about it. I don't know about 7 games, though. All right, so moving on from that matchup, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were in first place for the larger part of the season, going up against number 7, the Indiana Pacers. Let's save our theories as to why the Cleveland Cavaliers decided to tank and drop to number 2, and let's just kind of analyze this matchup. Cousin Juan was saying earlier how Indiana seems to be primed, in the right position, playing well at the right time. What do you got to say about that?
Well, I was just watching them, and actually, I like the addition of Lance. It's not just the fact that they're playing well. I think the fact that they're playing well has to do a lot with Lance. I think he gives them a personality, a character. Like they were missing that because their best player is kind of too humble. Like PG too quiet. So. Lance gives them that character and like that, like somewhat what Green brings to the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? That X factor,
grittiness, toughness,
right? You know what I'm saying? Personality, all of that character. But also he gives them another person that could create a shot for himself and for others. He plays defense. He plays multiple positions. So I'm not saying that they're gonna beat Cleveland, but I wasn't even thinking who they was playing in the playoffs.
That shit. There's no way in hell they're gonna beat Cleveland.
Bro,
I know there's been a lot of doubt with Cleveland. Their defense has been bad. They haven't been playing great, and honestly, I think they have flaws. But I think a first-round playoff with a team like Indiana is exactly what Cleveland's going to need to get fired up for the rest of the playoffs. I mean, all I see here is a bunch of kids that LeBron has already beaten over and over again. Paul George, T, Lance Stevenson. These guys, I mean, LeBron has beat them already a couple of times in the playoffs in his career. So Cleveland is surely going to win this playoff round. There's no doubt about it.
They're surely the favorite.
Yeah, what we want to see here, though, I mean, because obviously we know there's no chance for Indiana to go by. But what we want to see here is how Cleveland progresses throughout the series and fixes all these little kinks that have been messing them up during the regular season. Because everybody is waiting for Cleveland and LeBron James to transform into a whole different beast come playoff time. This is the series to do it.
Notorious.
I think it's gonna be a good test.
Notorious LBJ hater Omar has some thoughts on Cleveland and how they're not going to make it to the finals. Is this the round they get eliminated in, Omar?
First of all, Cleveland should make it to the finals. They got the most stacked roster in the Eastern Conference. They got Kyrie Irving, Kevin Love, LeBron James, plus a bunch of veteran players that know how to win. But saying that, Pacers present some matchup problems for the Cavaliers that Pacers could take advantage of, such as Miles Turner.
I was waiting to mention that.
Miles Turner is going to be a problem, and especially if Tristan Thompson is healthy. And Paul George could go at it with LeBron James. It's not like LeBron James has dominated the Pacers, but him and Paul George always go at it when they play. So it's not like it's going to be just an easy win for LeBron.
Double T is back, though. Double T is back. He played today.
Okay, he's back, but let's see how healthy he really is. And I don't see him stopping Miles Turner too much down low. But let's see. It is the playoffs, and supposedly the Cavs have a switch that they turn on. I doubt it.
That's a lot of
size. They're the favorite, and they're the champions. They're the favorite, and they're the champions. So we expect them to be Cleveland to turn into Cleveland at some point. But what I'm interested to see is how the Pacers turn up, how they've been playing well at the end of the season, and see what they can do. Hopefully, they make it an interesting
Indiana
series.
was going to be a top 4 team in the East before the season started. A lot
Right.
of us had that type of prediction.
That's the point I was going
That
to
went
make
out the
next.
window 2-3 weeks into the season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at the roster. It seems like a lot of names of players that that you would figure, if they can get it together, they can make any kind of chemistry, they should be able to play well. They have won 4 of their last, the 4 of the last 4 games. They won 4 in a row to end the season. So, I don't know, man. Maybe they have momentum on their side going into the playoffs. Let's move on to the next matchup. Toronto is going up against Milwaukee. I actually saw Milwaukee play live this year. I didn't think they were ready, but I'm glad to see them back in the playoff picture. Toronto, Milwaukee, Paki, what do you think?
I'm just happy to see a little bit of Giannis in the playoffs. I want to see how he keeps developing. I mean, he's obviously been one of the best improved players throughout the entire season, so that'll be fun. But to me, Toronto, I made a very good comparison, in my opinion, to the '90s Knicks. This is a team that produces in the regular season, is always in the top seeds, but they always hit a brick wall in the playoffs, whether it's Reggie Miller or Michael Jordan. In this case, LeBron James in most of their cases. So I don't see. I mean, I can see them getting past Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's length might be an advantage. But DeMar DeRozan, I mean, this guy he's so underrated. I mean, people have not talked about the fact that DeMar DeRozan is averaging around 27 points per game this season. I mean, he's averaged the quietest 27 points per game that I've ever seen out of any shooting guard. 27 points per game is not a little thing.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it wasn't quiet to people that are paying attention. There was like a month straight that he went for 30. It was for like a month.
That was the first month of the season. After that, it's been kind of quiet. Like, you only have to do so much.
For you to average 27,
you cannot turn it down.
Here's the thing about averages, though, Paki. When you spend a month scoring 30, right, there's just a little bit that you have to do to maintain a high number. So you started scoring off well. I'm not saying that he was scoring little by any stretch. By the way, I don't know if Kyle Lowry's back, so that's something to look out for. They're not the same team without Lowry.
Yeah, he's back.
But a month of basketball, dude, is like barely a fifth of the season. So, yeah, you got to keep working to keep up an average like that. It's not something that you just on a month you can settle down.
I agree with that, man. Like, okay, you scored 30 for a month of basketball. He didn't average 30. He averaged 27. So he obviously, brought his scoring averages down to a point where it balances out between the 35-point games and then, the 20 lows, whatever, to land at 27 points. But it's tricky when you talk averages. Like, you can't really see an average and assume that he's doing 27 every single game. There's some highs, there's some lows. I'm not saying he's a bad player, not at all. He's definitely an all-star. He's probably the best or maybe the second best player on that team. But I don't know. I'm not totally convinced with DeRozan.
Well, Giannis has to turn into a huge superstar to get the Bucks past Toronto. I think Toronto can go past the first round easily. Well, I'm not going to say easily, but I think they should pass the first round into the second.
Omar, what you got?
On this 6-game series out that series right there. I think 6 or 7 games Toronto should win. I'll feel better about Milwaukee if they had a healthy. What was his name? Dude that broke his knee.
Jabari Parker.
Jabari Parker, yeah. If he was healthy, I'll feel better about Milwaukee's chances because they got Chris Middleton back, who's been playing really well since coming back from injury. He's propelled them to the 6th seed. But
he's their best shooter.
Yeah, he gives somebody else another scoring option outside of Giannis. Giannis scores a bunch. Giannis is kind of like LeBron in the fact that he gets points, but he's not a scorer. And Chris Middleton and Jabari Parker are.
I can see that. I saw Giannis play in person. I think he had like 31 points that game against the Nets. And I dare say that at least 8 or 9 of those points came from the free throw line, probably more. So without the free throws, he probably would have scored something like 20 points, and the game would have been a lot closer than it was at the end. I didn't see that team has a lot of spacing, it seems like everyone's always looking for the basket. Don't get me wrong; these are NBA players. If you leave them open, from 17 feet, they should be able to sink that shot. But for the most part, they just can't get in situations where they're constantly getting those open kind of shots. And then they can't push it out to the 3-point line either. They missed a ton of 3-pointers.
No, and playoff basketball is more of a half-court basketball style. It's 7 games, so the fast breaks are cut down to a minimum. So it's more on half-court offense and set plays. It's basically who has the better system and the half-court that wins the playoff matchups.
Damn.
Yeah, talent-wise, in fact, and talent-wise, Toronto also beats them. I mean, remember, they added Ibaka. Ibaka should help in this series versus Milwaukee. That's a team with size.
Well, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Well, not really, because it goes with what Omar said. If Jabari Parker is healthy, which gives him a scoring option, then Chris Middleton coming back, being a scorer and being a shooter, with is being all over the floor, filling up the stat sheet, not having to focus on trying to score, just playing his game. With Thon Maker, which is not stat-wise wowing, but he is a growing, developing talent himself. He's like 6'11", or 7'1", or something like that.
Yeah.
Some stupid height.
All I know, guys, is if Jabari Parker was playing, then Milwaukee wouldn't be playing Toronto. They'd probably be a higher seed. So we got to forget about Jabari Parker for this series.
Right.
All right, good, excellent. So let's move on to the next matchup, and we got to try to wrap these up a little shorter, man. We can't go around 2 times. We go around once, and that's it. All right, so number 4, Washington, plays against number 5, Atlanta. Atlanta's kind of been dwindling all year. Washington had a really strong push. If I'm not mistaken, it was in January, and they kind of rode that to the end of the season. Washington versus Atlanta. What do you got, Paki?
All right, man. This is going to be a fun series, man, but I'm going to stick with Washington. I know I picked all the higher seeds. There's bound to be an upset, but I don't know. I really like the way Washington is playing. The way that I see Washington is like they're the Houston of the East right now. They're crazy good at scoring. Their defense is a little bit, subpar. Not great defensively, but the way John Wall has been playing, I think John Wall should be. I mean, this is his time to shine, man. I love what Washington is doing. I love the way they move the ball. They have a lot of possessions also. They should wear Atlanta down. I mean, because Atlanta's bench is not as deep, so I could definitely see Washington taking this series. So I'm all in with Washington on this one, man, and I really like this team, the way they're playing.
Much better team at home than on the road. Cousin Juan, what you got?
I'm not a big fan of Atlanta, even though I live here. I like Millsap. I like Schroeder, but I thought his game was comparison to Rondo, but he doesn't pass as well as Rondo. He scores better though. But outside of Millsap and
so in a lot of words, you really shouldn't compare them at all.
I mean, they play alike, and they have the same they play alike, and they have the same body build. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you this much: I've been kind of disappointed with Schroeder. I was expecting him to be further along by now. After
that's basically my point. That's basically my point. He started out pretty decent, and then he kind of like slowed down, and then never picked it back up. You know what I'm saying? And outside of him and Millsap, I don't really care for nobody else on the team. And then they got the big salt over there, the big soft guys. So
D8. Talking about D8.
Yeah.
This guy.
D8 got the matchup advantage against Marcin Gortat. So I think Washington should win, but Atlanta, I can see Atlanta giving them fits. I can see that going 6, maybe 7. Atlanta's very well coached. Budenholzer's kind of like a Popovich disciple, so they run like the same system.
Damn, Mama, you got any series being a sweep?
Nah, the East is very competitive this year. I don't think it's gonna be any sweeps. I think the least games we're gonna see is 5.
And who that? Cleveland?
Maybe.
Haters gonna hate. I think Washington has a definite advantage in the backcourt. The addition of Brandon Jennings late in the season is a definite step up from whoever they had backing up John Wall. That just kind of ensures John Wall's motor. They're a scary team. If they can stay focused on this matchup and not look past Atlanta, they should win comfortably. I don't know about easily. Atlanta's too reliant on their big men though. Too reliant on Paul Millsap. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I don't know. I haven't been watching that closely how Millsap came back from his couple of days off due to some injury. But hands down, I think Washington takes this one.
His three is off. Yeah, Millsap has been good, but his three is way off.
He was never really a three-point shooter. I mean, not in my opinion. If he had a good three-point shooting year, that was kind of a fluke. I don't think he's a reliable three-point shooter.
No, that's valid, but he's kind of like a LeBron-type three-point shooter that he picked his moments. You know, he's not a guy that's going to just shoot it from the line, but he picks his moments right, and he can get a couple of good threes, opportunistic threes, but this year he's not even getting those.
His rhythm is off, man. All right, let's move over to the West Coast. Number 1, the Golden State Warriors had the number 1 seed all year, playing against the Portland Trailblazers, a team that Cousin Juan thinks may surprise. Unfortunately, I don't think this is the year, though. Cousin Juan, you got anything to say about GSW in Portland?
Of course, the favorite is Golden State, but like I said, I like that Portland team ever since after the trade deadline, after they added that kid. Forgot his name because I was confused with the other one that stayed in them. Yeah,
Nurkic, not Jokic.
Yeah, Nurkic. Well, I think he gives them toughness. He brings something that they lost when they let Aldridge go with size, toughness, inside scoring, rebounding, and I mean they still got rebounders like Ed Davis and other scrappy players, but I feel like adding Nurkic gave them somebody they could dump the ball down to, somebody they could run pick and rolls with. Stuff like that. So having those combo guards on the floor at any time, CJ could go at any time, Lillard could go. Amino kind of, does this thing. Is he healthy? Is he playing?
Al-Farouq Aminu? I have no idea. I don't watch many Portland games.
He's healthy. Yeah, he's healthy.
Okay, well,
yeah,
he plays pretty good defense, and he plays overall tough, and they also got Evan Turner coming off the bench. Harkless is averaging like 10 points a game this season, which is not bad, So they're pretty well rounded. I think Nurkic is the piece that they were missing. So we shall see. They definitely should give them a fight.
They were missing to be a playoff team and nothing else. I mean, what does that piece do for them?
No, I think they could give this Warrior team a scare. Honestly,
I think
because this is not the same. This is not the same Warriors team. They're not as deep. They're not as long. They're not as big.
Come on, man. We've had this conversation. I think they're exactly the same deep.
No, well, the way I see it is the Portland team is really deep in the front court. They have some really good bigs. They're deep at the bigs, unlike Golden State. But Portland depends too much on Damian Lillard to be successful, so it's kind of contradictory. I think Golden State is obviously going to win this series. I'm really torn between a sweep and a 5-game. The only reason why I would give Portland maybe 1 game is because Damian Lillard has historically been very successful versus Steph Curry. I would not be surprised if Damian Lillard goes off on a 50-point game and brings him back at the end of a fourth quarter in a tight game and gets him that one single win maybe at home. That could be a possibility, but if that doesn't happen, then Golden State should sweep easily through Portland. I mean, Golden State does everything Portland does, but better. So, they're very similar type teams. The way they play, it's just Golden State does it way better. So, it's that simple. And I mean, this is something they met last year as well. Golden State beat them without Curry pretty much. Curry came back, I think it was like in the last game or two, and he was still like just getting back into the flow, and they still beat him. So, yeah.
But last year, then they have a big like Nurkic.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Golden State doesn't have Kevin Durant.
So.
Right? So,
okay, so I understand. So does defense win games in the playoffs or just offense? So you have to give this team a chance. They're scrappy. They got size on them. You know, you're gonna have to lean a lot on.
Past 7 or 6. Sorry to interrupt.
I can't
mean,
give
that's
them
cool.
more
That's
5.
cool. I don't mind 6. You know what I'm saying? I said competitive. You know, I didn't say that they were gonna beat the Warriors. So I don't mind 6. 6 is not bad.
I'll meet you halfway.
Like
How about 5 and an overtime game? That Golden State, but still 5.
I've kind of been down on Damian Lillard this year. I don't know. I felt like he was grabbing more headlines last year. I don't know. Omar, what do you think? Am I totally off base here?
He's actually balling, man. He's averaging 27 a game. He's still doing. He's playing better than he did last year. It's just Portland's just stuck with that matchup, that Golden State matchup, and right now Golden State is the best team.
Sorry to interrupt, Omar. You don't hear much about Damian Lillard because he doesn't do triple doubles, but yeah, man, he's been balling.
Yeah, he's a beast. Triple doubles is what's taking over the league now, and that's what everybody wants to talk about. That's why Russell Westbrook's probably going to win the MVP. But Damian Lillard is still probably a top 5 point guard in this league right now, and the point guard class is very deep, so he's still a top player. That being said, I don't see them getting past 6 games. I really like Portland. I really like C.J. McCollum. I really like Dame. Nurkic was a big addition to them.
Yeah.
And they got shooters. They got that guy, Adam Crabbe, who was a sniper. But I just don't see them in Golden State. Golden State got too many people they can throw out. They can throw $1 to guard fucking Damian Lillard and just shut him down. So
5 with an overtime game is fair, right?
Yeah, I think so.
5 with an OT game.
OT game happening in Portland?
At the Rose Garden, maybe.
I mean, what else is going to happen? You think they're going to play them that hard?
They have too much firepower, man. Clay and Steph alone are just, that's 50 points. You add KD to that.
80.
That's going to be crazy, man.
80 points, and then everybody else can just fill in the blanks.
Yep.
Yeah, Stephen Curry puts easy 40 on Portland, man.
All right, so we're not going to say much about Golden State. We think they're going to win. Everybody knows. If you've been following sports at all, if you haven't been living under a rock, you know they got Kevin Durant to replace Harrison Barnes, and I think they're just as strong as they were last year. The pieces they lost, they replaced with adequate backup. So I'm fine with Golden State. They're going all the way to the finals. They're going to cruise past Portland. All right, the number 2 seed, San Antonio Spurs, playing against the number 7 Memphis Grizzlies. I thought the Memphis Grizzlies didn't even have a chance to show up in the playoffs this year. They ended up the number 7 seed, and I don't know. I think they match up well against the Spurs. Just the names on the jersey seem to play a lot harder when they play against each other, at least from the Memphis point of view. Memphis won 43 games this year. How do you see this going? Omar, start us off.
I like San Antonio, but shout out to Coach Fizdale, former Heat assistant. He's coaching the Grizzlies now. They overachieved this year also. I didn't have them making the playoffs. I thought Gasol and Zebo was getting old. Conley, I like Conley, but he's not worth that contract they gave him. But hey,
he's playing well and he's happy. Like, who are we to get in his face about that? And speaking of old, man, Vince Carter's still suiting up for them.
Yeah, Vince Carter balling at 40 years old. He's still dunking in pregame, doing 360s and shit. But it's not going to be enough to get past the Claw and old man Ginobili and those guys. LaMarcus Aldridge. San Antonio got too much good players, plus Popovich is a better coach.
I like LaMarcus Aldridge in any first-round matchup. I think LaMarcus Aldridge is probably the best forward in the first round that you could have. That guy balls out. It wouldn't be uncommon to see him score 40 points with 20 rebounds any given game in the first round.
He's a beast in the low post, and the playoffs slows it down. So if you could feed him, they're going to have to double team him.
The way I see it is Memphis without Chandler Parsons is the same Memphis team that gets eliminated every year in the Western Conference, but older. Everybody's a little bit older. Zach Randolph, Marc Gasol, Tony Allen, Vince Carter. Mike Conley's, the same people. Chandler Parsons would have helped. I think this is probably going to be the most boring series out of the entire first round of the playoffs.
I think with those names you mentioned, I mentally added up like 130 years if I just add their ages together.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's the same exact team. They're just older. You know, the way I see it is there's no way they're going to be able to compete with San Antonio. San Antonio can mold into any type of team. They can go fast. They can go slow. It doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, like I said, you guys said it, Memphis is overrated, and this is going to be a boring, very boring series. Doesn't matter if it's a sweep or not. It's going to be boring.
Overachieving and overrated aren't the same thing.
Right.
Yo, did the Grizzlies almost upset them a couple years ago? Sorry to interrupt.
They did upset them a couple years ago. Exactly a couple of years ago, they knocked them out.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, but they're an older team now, and San Antonio's a younger team. Yeah.
Bigger.
So, the funny thing about it is that I'm going to touch a subject that I think we wanted to touch on, and we probably skipped on because we passed the East Coast already. This is why I get so upset as a Knicks fan, and why are we still Knicks fans? Like, why our organization can't overachieve, like, ever? You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, we wasn't even expecting. Look at Memphis roster. You wasn't expecting Memphis to even, you know what I'm saying, be anything. But here they are in the fucking playoffs in the West.
In the West,
but
yeah.
you know, right? But you know, they're not beating the Spurs.
All right, so why boring though? Like I don't understand why this would be a boring series. I mean, San Antonio plays a pretty exciting brand of basketball, and the Grizzlies, they seem to step up to play against the Spurs. So why would it be a boring matchup?
I mean, for me personally, I don't like nobody on Memphis. I mean, Zach's game is probably the best game in Memphis. You know, I mean, Vince is not the same player. Conley hasn't never opened my eyes, not even in college.
I know that when you look at the box scores, it looks like San Antonio takes probably the most amount of threes of any team, even including the Warriors. But when you watch them play, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like they're feeding the ball inside. So if you're a fan of not the three-point shot, you know, ball movement and kind of feeding the ball into the low post, I think this is a series to watch.
I think it's boring because there's no big names, and Kawhi Leonard is like the big superstar name, but no, he has no personality, so nobody really cares about Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is like the perimeter Tim Duncan.
Yeah, it's two teams that play with very little passion. I mean, their players are not very explosive. These teams, I mean, even San Antonio, excuse me, even San Antonio, even though they can, you know, go up tempo for a bit, they're not very athletic. Neither is Memphis. You don't have those explosive athletes in this series. Memphis plays a very slow brand of basketball, so it's a slow game. You're expecting to see a slow game, no matter what the score shows. They're slow games. They can be exciting. You know, they can be exciting at the end. You know, maybe a close game or not, whatsoever. But doesn't mean that the basketball itself that's being played is going to be fun to watch. You know what I mean?
I disagree. Bruise them up, score 100 points off low post feeds, post ups and dunks. Like, that can't be bad. All right, well, we spent enough time on this.
They have been playing more up tempo lately. Sorry, I just had to make that point. Memphis has been playing more up tempo. Conley leading them, so but they still not going to beat the Spurs.
I think we all agree the Spurs are going to take this one. We didn't expect Memphis to be here. They may step up. They may make it fun. At least in making it close, but maybe close but not fun. Kind of how I felt with the NCAA finals. Number 3, Houston versus number 6, OKC. Now we get to the fun stuff. So it looks like the 2 front runners for the NBA MVP are going to be featured in this game. 2 point guards, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, my MVP, are going to be facing off. Oh, man, so much to say. Where do we start? Who wants this hot potato?
First of all, you can't make this stuff up. Harden and Westbrook, I mean, 2-headed MVP race, and they face off in the playoffs. This is going to be the series to watch, and this might be the only one that goes legit to 7 games in the first round. Well, I think the next one we're going to talk about too might go to 7, but this is going to be a fun 7 games. You see, unlike San Antonio and Memphis, this one is full of explosive offenses and you know, fast breaks and athletic players. So this is going to be a lot more fun to watch. It's going to be better for the eyes. Even if the scoreboard might be lopsided to one side, but it's going to be nice around the eyes. I think Houston should take this one. Houston has, I mean, just the way that James Harden is playing and setting up the other guys in the threes, I think they're going to be able to outscore Oklahoma easily. And that's the key word, outscore. It doesn't mean that they're going to beat them per se, outscore. I know it sounds redundant, but it's just at the pace that Houston can score, I don't think Oklahoma can keep up, depending solely on Russell Westbrook. And the other part is that
hold on. One of the points that I heard this week about why James Harden should win the NBA MVP was that he's responsible for 60% of all of his team's points. So you're relying so heavily on James Harden. What if something were to happen to James Harden? Then what happens to that team?
That's a what they're screwed.
But
that's
doesn't that
we can't go into.
But doesn't that answer your MVP question at the same time?
I mean, we can't go in. We can't. We can't predict the. Yeah, we can't predict the player's injury though. I mean, we should.
You just said they go as he goes, basically, right?
That theory applies for both players because it's
and it does.
Right. Right. It goes to what I'm saying. I believe it's gonna be the first time in history he's gonna be co-MVP.
The way I see it is that Russell Westbrook is the guy that's going to have most of the attention, I mean, based on his stats and what he's been doing all year. But I think James Harden can nullify everything that Russell Westbrook does production-wise because he's right there with him production-wise. So they're going to level off, so it's going to be left off to what team can shoot better the 3, and it's going to be Houston. I mean, Oklahoma is not very good defending the 3, so Houston's going to have, you know, they're going to have a lot of very, very good nights versus Oklahoma.
I just had like an epiphany, I should say, a vision or something. Like, these are the same 2 guys that are leading in commercials. These are the same 2 guys that, if you notice, it's not like this year. It's been going on from last year. They're leading in commercials. They're the same 2 guys that are like the face of NBA fashion, if you think about it. They're 2 guys that we're always talking about. They're always in their face. They're always showing them camera what they're wearing or whatever. And it just happens to be that they're the ones that MVP race going at each other. And then they happen to play in the first round. Like, and they used to be teammates. Like,
you can't make this stuff up, I'm telling you.
Right. And this is what I'm saying. That theory is setting it right up for the first time in history, co-MVP.
It's kind of too bad that Harden signed with Adidas. Like, they would have made 2 excellent puppets for that whole, like, revival of the LeBron Kobe puppets.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see a little puppet with a beard on it. That'd be fun. Omar, what do you got to add here?
I mean, this is the start of a good
Shut up,
rivalry.
Paki. You talk too much. Let the guys talk. Omar, what do you think?
This is going to be the best series, most exciting out of all of them because, you know, the 2 MVPs playing against each other. They're both in the prime of their career. They're both 27, 28 years old, smack dab in their prime at the best they've ever been. So it's going to be really cool to watch these 2 players go at it. That being said, I think they both teams play very different styles. Houston wants to run and shoot threes all day.
7 seconds or less?
That in the playoffs, OKC is going to want to pound because they got Cantor and they got Adams that could cause problems for Houston down low. Capella, he's good on the pick and roll, but I don't think he can handle Cantor defensively. So it's going to be very different contrasting. If OKC can defend the 3-point line and contain Harden, I like their chances of winning. But if they let him play the up-tempo style that D'Antoni wants to play, Houston should take it.
Don't forget, though, Houston.
Steven Adams cut his teeth in the playoffs, man. That dude is really good on defense.
Steven Adams,
that is a fact. But don't forget, they also have Houston also have the veteran big man in Nene that been playing very well also. So it's not just Capella that's playing defense down there.
No, Nene is good, but how many minutes can you count on Nene to give at this stage of his career? Like, he's not going to give you 25 minutes. His stamina is not going to hold that much.
And you got to take into consideration when they bring in Ryan Anderson, they're going to be stretching the floor. So, when they stretch the floor, what's that going to put on Canner? Well, Canner can probably play stretch, but Steven Adams might struggle.
Right.
Omar could have muted his phone.
No, I'm a peralo loco. Yeah, more job for you editing, man. You got to cut that shit out.
Oh, God.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we told you to mute your phone. All right. Are we done with Houston OKC, or we got more to say?
I mean, like I was saying, dude, I mean, the other part that we were talking about is that they could stretch the floor with Ryan Anderson. So it's going to be interesting to see how Oklahoma can actually defend the paint when you have Ryan Anderson inside, stretching out at the four. Because Ryan Anderson, the way that D'Antoni's running the system and the way that James Harden is doing it, Ryan Anderson has become orchestrating. Ryan Anderson has become a legit piece for that team. He's been playing pretty much. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of Hito Turkoglu back with the Orlando days with Dwight Howard. So, he could play a very important part in that team. I think that's also going to affect Oklahoma. So Houston should take this at the end.
I don't see it. He rebounds and he shoots threes. It's a different take on the 3-and-D guy. He's a rebounding three, but outside of that, Ryan Anderson doesn't handle the ball like Turkoglu did. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
He's a defensive liability. If he's guarding any of the two bigs down low, that's automatic.
All right. Well, the LA Clippers are going to be.
But
playing,
that's automatic. That's automatic if Westbrook gives them the ball.
He doesn't have a problem giving him the ball. Like, he's averaging over 10 assists this year. What is it, like close to 11? Like, why would he stop?
But I told you, he's averaging 10 assists by going to the basket looking to score. And then happen to this. He doesn't say, yo, get in that block right here. Let me give you that ball. Let me see what you can do. He don't get their assists like that.
But you don't need that. I mean, run to the basket, play decoy. I'll find you. You'll get an easy score.
We got to see if Westbrook plays better basketball now and stops chasing the triple-double, because the triple-double in the play, unless he wants to break another triple-double record for the playoffs, knowing that he's not going to move in the finals, that's a different story. But if Russell Westbrook, decides to change his mindset a bit, then maybe Oklahoma has a better chance.
They won like 80% of the games they played where he scored the triple-double. Why would he stop now?
Yeah, because they're not gonna, because they didn't play the Houston Rockets in all those triple-double games. That's the thing. If you look up the teams that they beat when they did that, it's not the same.
Some teams die by the three, some teams lose by the three. This team lives and dies by the triple-double.
Beating the Lakers with a triple-double is not the same as beating Houston. Come on.
I think Westbrook being used a little less will be a plus for OKC. If you let Oladipo handle the ball a little more, it's better for the team, man, because Westbrook's been trying to go for the triple-double. It's not a secret. He's been trying to average it since day one. Ever since KD left, that was his mission. So he got it. So now when he plays more team basketball, I think OKC has a chance to upset Houston. But it's gonna be a close series. It's gonna be the best out of all the first round series.
All right, make a pick quick.
OKC.
I picked Houston.
Cousin.
You already know where I'm at.
Say it, man.
Rockets.
Thunder. We're split down the middle. All right, some fucking controversy. Number 4 and number 5, the LA Clippers versus the Utah Jazz. I don't care. I'm not even going to prep this game up. I just don't care.
Me neither.
This is the only upset that I'm legit predicting on my side, like for a lower seed to beat a higher seed. I think Utah can beat the Clippers in the first round, and
I'm with you on that. And Clippers blow up the team this summer. Yep.
Yeah, Clippers. First of all, Clippers are the Clippers, so I don't really have to get very technical into them. They just find ways to mess up. They find ways to lose in the playoffs. I think it's been overstated already that their coach, Doc Rivers, is extremely overrated. I think the success he had in Boston, a lot of people said that the success he had in Boston was mostly because of Thibodeau. And, let's not forget he had a pretty decent big three. So ever since he got to the Clippers, we're not seeing that shutdown defense that Boston won a championship with, and that Boston made LeBron go to Miami with. You know, we're not seeing that in the Clippers, although he's had talent to have it. I mean, you have DeAndre Jordan, probably one of the best defensive players in the game, and I'm still not seeing a lot of defense from the Clippers, so maybe it was Thibodeau. Unlike Utah is the best defensive team this year. They got Rudy Gobert, who can challenge DeAndre Jordan defensively. I mean, you know, he can whatever DeAndre Jordan can do, Rudy Gobert can do. And Gordon Hayward has been lights out, man. This kid has not gotten enough credit. Again, he's not putting up the triple doubles, but he's doing the job, man. He does the dirty work. He does the three. He gets to the rim. He gets people involved. Gordon Hayward is a complete package right now. You know, maybe he's not very flashy. And I don't want to sound, I don't want to get to the race part of it, but the fact that he's white doesn't help him because people don't respect white players, you know, that way. So, yeah, man, it's the truth. If he was black, he would. Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. It's like the same thing with the NFL
Who's
right now.
not giving him respect? He's an excellent player. He's an all-star. Everybody knows he's the best player on that team.
He should be. They should be talking about Gordon Hayward a lot more.
He's in the MVP running. He's like number 6 on the ladder.
They should be talking about Gordon Hayward a lot more.
The fact that he plays in Utah doesn't help.
Yeah, he plays in Utah and he's white. He has like two bad things that don't help him out.
I don't think white has anything to do with this.
Oh, you don't think it has anything to do? Of course. I mean, if he was a point guard, it'd be okay. Or if he was a center.
Stockton was pretty popular.
I'm Billy Hoyle.
Yeah, but he was a point guard. He was a point guard. When you're talking about a small forward, an athletic position, that most of the predominant small forwards are black, and you have this white guy popping up, it's like, wait a second. I'm not sold.
Did you just call him Billy Hoyle?
No, it's the same thing with the NFL draft. That's something that we got to talk about soon, Jay. I mean, you got McCaffrey from Stanford. Everybody's saying if he was black, he'd probably be a top 5 pick, and they got him at the end of the first, and that's because he's white. And he's a running back.
He's deceptively fast. He's deceptively fast.
That's calling him a white running back. That's
code words.
You call him white. Deceptively fast. That's a code word for white.
He's deceptively good. He's deceptively athletic.
It's deceptive because he's white.
He's a very good route runner, but he doesn't have...
It's deceptive because he's white. Because if he was black, it wouldn't be deceptive. So
you guys are saying that he's what's the word I'm looking... Deceptively fast, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's fucked up, man.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing with Utah. I can see Utah coming in with a huge upset on the Clippers, man. For real.
I don't really care too much about this series. I know that if Utah loses, Pat Riley's going to meet with Gordon Hayward, try to convince him to come to the Heat. If Clippers lose, he's going to meet with Blake Griffin, try to get him to come to the Heat. So I'm rooting for either or. We're probably going to not get either or, but at least we can get a meeting with him. And may the best man win this series. The Clippers should win, man. They got the talent, yo. But you never know.
They got the talent in the starting lineup, but once those people get tired or the inevitable Clippers injury in the playoffs, that's pretty much it. Like they're going to be really milking whatever's on the bench.
Yeah, man. And Doc Rivers, his flaw was being GM because this guy got fucking what's his son's name? Austin Rivers. Playing 25 minutes a game when nobody in the league wants that guy on the team. So
I'm telling you, his downfall. And you know, let's not forget that there is some chemistry issues with the Clippers in the locker room between Blake and CP3. So, you know, that's a meltdown organization right now, bro.
I go the other way on that one. I say they should win this, but they probably will lose, blow up the team. CP goes somewhere, Blake goes somewhere, maybe Jordan stays, I don't know. But I kind of see, because I see Austin Rivers being in the league past, you know, not just because of his dad. Like, he's developed pretty well. And I don't know if you guys remember when CP3 went down in the playoffs and he had to step up.
Yeah, I agree.
He stepped up pretty big. And not only just by his play, his actions too. Like, he got hit. I think it busted his nose, and he took stitches and all that, and played and he played very well. So I don't think it's just his dad doing him a favor. I think his dad did him a favor, but I think he developed now.
Yeah, I can see a lot of that happening.
Fair point.
All right, so that's how we have the first round going down. Stay tuned to the unofficial commentators as we talk about the upcoming rounds and what's happening there. Let's talk a little bit about the Of the Year awards. So where do we want to start on this one? Sixth Man of the Year. Guys, got any thoughts?
Yeah, man, start from the bottom. Yeah, I think the sixth man of the year, I think it stays in Houston. It's either going to be Lou Williams or Eric Gordon. I mean, both of these guys have been awesome. I know that's kind of weird that there's 2 six-mans on a team, but, you know, they did get Lou Williams halfway through. But I'm going to stick with Eric Gordon just because of what he's meant to that Houston Rockets system. I really like Eric Gordon, and just to switch it up, we hear Lou Williams every year in the conversation. Eric Gordon was a starter all of his career. Now he's a bench player. We've seen throughout history when that happens, you know, normally that guy gets the sixth man. So I'm going to stick with Eric Gordon for this one.
Oh?
I can see Eric Gordon winning. It's similar to the situation D'Antoni had in Phoenix when he had Leandro Barbosa coming off the bench, killing, averaging the same 18 points per game. But I'm biased, so my sixth man goes to James Johnson because nobody does what he does off the bench, man. You guys just don't watch the games. The guy is a point forward. He guards power forwards. He guards center.
Man, what do you give it?
Passes.
He lost 40 pounds.
I'm going to go like this. Wait, hold on, Omar.
He lost 40 pounds.
If you're going to stay in Miami, I would pick another Johnson over him as a sixth man of the year. Don't you think Tyler Johnson is more deserving than he is as a sixth man of the year?
Tyler Johnson's good off the bench, but he's not better than James Johnson off the bench.
Is your argument that he guards?
You watch the highlights and watch the games.
No, you see more Heat games than I do, so I'm going to take it. I'm going to accept it as you say, but I don't know. I think you're just a little bit too highly sold on James Johnson, man.
How you guys feel about
the movement he's made from this year to last year is very impressive. If y'all was keeping up with, I know y'all don't keep up with the Heat, but if y'all keep up and watch what he has done this year, the improvement has been crazy. He's been the catalyst to the Heat winning those 30 games in the second half of the season because what he does, only LeBron James and probably Giannis could do it right now because he guards centers, bro. The man plays all 5 positions.
I don't understand what this fascination with guarding centers is. Like, just you stand in front of them and try not to foul them. How talented do you have to be to do that?
He's 6'8". He was guarding Boogie Cousins down the stretch for a game winning play.
Was Boogie Cousins like 6'11"?
It's about power.
All right, well.
Boogie Cousins huge, man.
You can be
for
strong.
A play down the stretch. For a play down the stretch.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, don't take it from me, man. Yeah, watch the Miami highlight. And they're going to give it to Eric Gordon, but if I had a vote, I would vote for James Johnson.
Listen, you said for a play down the stretch. Now, if you told me that was his assignment all night and he locked D Cousins down, I'd be like, okay. The boy.
Draymond Green to the conversation.
Because my brother said that James Johnson doesn't. People don't do what James Johnson do. That he guards big men. Blah 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 blah. You told me that he was guarding D Cousins for one play down the stretch. Right now, you know who's undersized big man who guards other big men for an assignment throughout whole games? That's Draymond Green. So I'm not comparing their games, but you telling me about a 6'8".
We're talking about sixth man of the year. Draymond
yes,
Green
but you brought up a point that you said he guards. So we're not comparing the award right now. I'm just saying you're talking about undersized players who guard bigs, right? So
I'm giving my reasons why I think he should be sixth man of the year.
But he doesn't guard bigs. He doesn't guard
yes,
bigs. He just happens to be a player that
highlight tape, man.
For that one play?
He's been doing it all year, man.
That's a short highlight tape.
3.
It's a highlight clip.
Highlight clip.
I'm gonna send it to y'all through the group. I know y'all don't watch it.
That'll take a whole 9 seconds.
I'll watch it.
Do it.
I ain't a hater. I'll watch it.
Send it, man. That shouldn't take too many megabytes.
I'm just making my case. This man trying to bring up Draymond Green, the six man. We're not even talking about.
From six man, I want to move on to most improved players. So most improved.
Hold on. How y'all feel about Cantor? He's leading the league in scoring coming off the bench.
Ooh.
Nah, I'm not sold.
Green, Gordon is leading the league in scoring.
Coming off the bench?
Yes.
I think
Gordon
and Lou Williams are both at 17. They're at 17. I think Lou Williams is at 18.
Well, I got to check that again.
Cantor's averaging 14 points off the bench.
I mean, Cantor's good. I'm just, like I said, I'm just sold. I'm Eric Gordon this year. I'm sticking with Gordon.
No, it's probably going to be Eric Gordon.
I'm surprised he's not starting. Most improved. Who you got?
Jay was talking about most improved, man. I think the most improved player is a player that should be at least in the MVP conversation. Nobody talks about him. Isaiah Thomas. Ooh. Isaiah Thomas has been balling all year, man. 29 points a game, leading Boston to the #1 seed. I mean, 7 years ago, if you led a team to the #1 seed over LeBron James, you would normally be the MVP. This time, Isaiah Thomas is not even in the consideration. So
Curry got it. Curry got it for having the Warriors in the #1 seed, right?
Right, yeah, but I mean, Derrick Rose got it for beating LeBron on his first seed. I mean, that's pretty much it. And now Isaiah Thomas is not even. He's not even. They put Curry in over him because Curry had a good 14-game stretch without Kevin Durant. So the least you could do for the poor man is give him the most improved player, man.
I think that award means shit, but okay.
I think another candidate for that, I think, is Giannis, Greek Freak.
Yeah, valid, very valid.
Yeah, that would be my candidate also.
Wow, these guys are very dull. That's it. My candidate is this.
Now, my candidate will be Giannis because he went from being a solid player last year to being an all-star this year, averaging 23 points per game. He's top 10. He leads his team in points, assists, and he's like the first player in a long time to be top 10 or top 20 in points, assists, rebounds, blocks, and steals. So, Giannis,
that's valid.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's valid. I wouldn't complain if they give it to Giannis.
Is most improved like an award that you get as a consolation to not getting the MVP?
No, it's for that you've improved a lot. But sometimes players improve so much that they deserve to be an MVP, but since they don't have that big name,
I don't know.
Thomas.
I don't really understand how players that we knew were already good, like Giannis and Isaiah Thomas, are both really good players. They took it to another level. Most improved, like I kind of have an idea that most improved would be like a player who wasn't good and became good. But that's neither here nor there.
Usually,
another one is Gordon Hayward.
Even though I think he was playing pretty well last year.
The difference with Isaiah Thomas is the statistics. I mean, over 10 points a game over what he normally does. A lot of people that I've been reading, a lot of people also talk about Nikola Jokic. I mean, the guy from Denver. He put Denver on his shoulders. So that's also a guy not a lot of people talk about. He's a beast. You know, he's also a valid candidate.
I just seen it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to say that most improved player usually goes to a young player. Like, I think C.J. McCollum won it last year, but basically what happened was that his minutes went up, so his production went up. So they gave him the most improved player for that. Usually they give it to players whose minutes go up and has better season statistics-wise. But in Giannis and Isaiah Thomas' case, they playing almost the same minutes they played last year and having better seasons.
Yeah, I think Isaiah, what he's done with Boston, that's improvement.
Fair enough. I will take it, and I'll move on to the next one. Defensive Player of the Year.
Oh, I don't even. I have my pick, but I want to see what these guys think first before I say mine.
I mean, you were talking about all this guard, and this guy guards, that guy guards. Defensive Player of the Year. What's up?
Yeah, I want to. I want to hear what you guys have to say before I get mine.
I'll go first. This guy doesn't get a lot of light. We doesn't get no TV time, but he's one of the main reasons why that team plays. It's the best defensive team in the league, and that's Gobert. But
that's my pick. That's what I was gonna
yeah,
pick.
I knew you were gonna go there. That's why I said I'll go first. But that's not who I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say it's Draymond Green because of the name. You know, nobody really sees Utah play and stuff like that. But you know, Draymond Green is like the anchor of that team, or even Kawhi Leonard. Like, you know, he steals the ball. Kawhi takes the ball from anyone. Like, I seen Kawhi steal the ball literally from, like, just take it from players, and that's from Westbrook, from LeBron. Like, it's crazy. Like, he really locks up.
So my pick will be Draymond Green for Defensive Player of the Year. Because of the things I once said, he's 6'7". He anchors a top 3 defense in the NBA. He can guard the point guard. He can guard the center. He hustles hard as fuck. He's dirty, but he plays hard, man. He plays to the whistle. I could see them giving it to Kawhi Leonard for the 3rd straight year because he just locks anybody up. And Gobert would be a good pick also because I think defense got Utah got the number 1 defense in the NBA. So I can see them giving them to either 3, but I would go with Draymond Green as the Defensive Player of the Year for this year.
Yeah, I'm basing my decision on Rudy Gobert mostly because of that time Marc Gasol got the Defensive Player of the Year. I remember that year LeBron was having a very good defensive year as well as Kawhi, and they gave it to Marc Gasol pretty much because he was the best defender on the best defensive team. That's kind of what Rudy Gobert is right now in Utah, and you know the fact that he leads in blocks, and you know the way he's been shutting down the paint is impressive. So I think just to switch it up from Kawhi Leonard, I mean, I think Kawhi Leonard is good defensive, but I don't think Kawhi Leonard is 3 times in a row Defensive Player of the Year good because that's not something that's been seen much before. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to think like I'm offending Kawhi or something about it, but, you know, 3 times in a row in today's NBA,
Nah, just that.
Extremely high scoring. Yeah, in an extremly high scoring NBA that every year there's more scoring. You got to give some props to the big man that leads the best defensive team. So I'm gonna stick with Gobert for this one.
I think Draymond Green gets it just because I feel in the media selects these prizes, right? So I think they just owe him. They messed him up the last couple of years when he probably should have won it. And yeah, just on past merit, I don't think he's been as good this year as he was years past. Nonetheless, you know, they just owe him. Kind of what I thought about Harden and the MVP coming into the year, that they just owed him for having screwed him before.
As long as Draymond Green keeps kicking people, I don't think he deserves anything. That's my point of view.
What's the next award?
Yeah, call me whatever you want.
Coach of the Year.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
A lot of teams made really big turnarounds this year, man.
Yeah, I was really torn between. Yeah, I was really torn between Brad Stevens and D'Antoni, to be honest. But I'm gonna stick with Brad Stevens. I'm sticking with Brad Stevens regardless, because I mean, to me, it's like what?
Utah being 4th in the West, or 5th in the West.
5th in the West.
5th?
Yeah.
Utah's 5th in the West, yeah.
That's pretty impressive. What was it last year?
I don't think they were even in the playoffs
last year.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, Houston was a 7th seed last year.
How about,
you know?
But that's because of Dwight Howard, though. He fucking sucks. But how about
he wasn't just a defensive anchor. He was just an anchor holding them down.
Right, he was just an anchor, right.
The thing with Pop is, this is how I see giving it to Pop. Pop is, I'm going to bring the LeBron James topic again. Pop is the best coach in the NBA, just like we all know LeBron James is the best player in the NBA. But that doesn't mean LeBron James deserves the MVP every year. Does that make sense?
No, he does deserve it every year. It just becomes a matter of fatigue, like, who do we give it now? We want to give it to LeBron again.
He doesn't have to win it every year. Yeah, he doesn't have to win every year. So, I mean, what Brad Stevens has been doing in Boston, they've been improving every year and taking them to a 1 seed. I don't know the specific stats, man, but I'm pretty sure you can look up any article by any expert from any big sports media. You can look up Twitter feeds or whatever, and I'm sure that nobody had Boston ending number 1 in the East the way that they've done it. So that's the
No
only
way.
reason. If they
You're
would
right.
have ended, if they would have ended number 2, even with that same record, but they would have ended number 2, I think that would have damped it a little bit down, and then you could have made a case for D'Antonio, for Pop.
Well,
But
on that point you're making, I put that more on Cleveland's fault.
yeah, it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it's the seeding, you know. And I think Boston winning, and of course it's Cleveland's fault. But the way that Brad Stevens has brought this team to another level and developed Isaiah Thomas, because you got to give him credit. You know,
That's a fact.
I love it. I love it. I'm a huge Brad Stevens fan. And you know who's another person that deserves it? I'm going to say it even before Omar. You can make Spoelstra. Yeah. You can make an argument for Spoelstra. Spoelstra has done something that nobody understands how he's done it with a team full of D-leaguers. I mean, only Omar thinks they got talent, but that team has no talent. That team is a bunch of D-leaguers. But they're winning. So, you know, and that's all on Spoelstra. So Spoelstra also is somebody that has a really good argument for Coach of the Year.
Who won Coach of the Year last year?
Man, that's a good question. I don't remember. I think it was Steve Kerr. Wasn't it Steve Kerr with the regular season record? It was Kerr.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, Brad Stevens should get it, because then Brad Stevens did pretty good last year too, but they gave it to Steve Kerr. So he does pretty good again. He does even better this year, and there's no Kerr to block him. So
no Kerr block?
You should get it. Yeah,
that's the new cock block, Kerr block.
Kerr block.
I know Omar's going to say Spo, right, Omar?
Of course.
Better give it to Spo, man. That team started
11-30. No Chris Bosh. Dion Waiters hurt. Hassan missed like 13 games. Garner missed like 12 games. And they finished 41-41, missing the playoffs by technicality because they got the tiebreaker. They lost the tiebreaker with the Bulls.
Well, y'all should have been focused on beating the Bulls during the series and not the Cavs. You were so worried about beating the Cavs. We beat the Cavs 3-1 all year. They should have beat the Bulls 3-1. That would have been in the playoffs.
The Bulls dropped from like 6
versus the Bulls.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Bulls were like a 6 seed. Like you would have never thought that was going to be the matchup you had to win at the end of the year.
Exactly. I don't think that they thought that. Also, they had a whole bunch of injuries when they played the Bulls the first 2 times of the season. When they played them when they were healthy, they beat them. So
somebody's on the phone in somebody's background or something.
It sounds like a baby monitor. What's going on there?
Yeah, that's my baby mom.
All right, so you think Spo, Brad Stevens, did Cousin Juan weigh in? You said Pop?
Nah, I said Brad Stevens.
Rookie of the Year. It seemed like it was going to be hands down Joel Embiid. I don't know if he has enough games played to qualify for the award. So in his absence, who wins Rookie of the Year this year? It was a pretty slim class.
The kid from the Bucks.
You think?
I mean,
Malcolm Brogdon.
It has to be either Malcolm Brogdon or Dario Saric from Philadelphia. I don't see them anyway winning. I would still take Embiid. I'm still going to vote for Embiid. I don't care if he played only 10 games. Yeah, I mean, it's not even this NBA rookie class was complete garbage. And you know what the sad part is? That Embiid is the only clear-cut guy that you can actually think that he's talented for something worthy in the future. And he wasn't even from this draft class. This draft class was complete garbage. Complete garbage. Yeah, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I don't think this draft class deserves anything at all. After coming from Karl Anthony Towns winning on Rookie of the Year, we got to settle for this crap? Hell no. I'm gonna give it to him.
Paki says, scrap the award altogether. Don't give it to nobody.
Yeah, man, I'll give it to Embiid. I don't care if he played 5 games. At least I know this guy is gonna be talked about within the next 4 or 5 years. Nobody's going to be talking about Saric or Brogdon in the next 4 to 5 years.
You know what's funny?
Fucking role players.
You know what's funny? That he's going to be a rookie again next year. Because by rules, technicality, he hasn't played enough rule games yet. So he could really be a rookie of the year next year again, bro.
In its 4th year, you're still going to be a rookie.
Yeah. That's actually what happened with Blake. Blake won the Rookie of the Year his second year. Remember, he blew his knee out.
Yeah. He won it on the second year.
I think they should give it to Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, it looks like Malcolm Brogdon is the late prohibitive favorite. I like Dario Saric a lot, though. I picked him up in one of the fantasy leagues I was playing, and I used that to follow him very closely, and he was playing really well. I'm not going to go out there and say, beast or running the game, but he played really well, pretty consistently for most of the year, so that's the guy I'm going to go with. Even in the shadow of Joel Embiid, he was still playing really well.
Yeah, a lot of people might make an argument for Brogdon because Saric was in a very bad team in Philadelphia, but I'm like, since when has winning been considered even a factor for a Rookie of the Year? You're a rookie. That means you're in a bad team. Of course, you're not going to be in.
Unless you're Magic Johnson and you win Finals MVP your rookie year.
Yeah, most rookies, though, are high picks, meaning they're in bad teams. So, I'm sorry, man. I'm sticking with Embiid and keep Embiid as a sophomore for next year. Screw it. Just give him the award this year.
Give it to him the last 3 years. What the hell? All right. How long have we been recording, man? Do we have time to talk about MVP?
I have no idea for how long we've been recording. It's
2 hours, 20 minutes.
Because with all the cutting and shutting down, I lost all track of time, Jay. I don't know.
2 hours and 18 minutes.
What's the dealio?
Should we talk about MVP, man? Because I know we talked about talking about MVP.
Let's talk about MVP, man.
Let's go, man. Let's just make it happen. Listen, I'm going to keep it real short and sweet. I'm going to go first. I haven't been that person that been bashing
So when do they announce the MVP, by the way?
I think they're going to wait till the end of the first round.
Yeah.
So we would have like maybe 1 or 2 more podcasts before it actually happens to still talk about it?
Yeah.
All right, so do we want to do this now or should we wait? Nah, we got you guys here. Let's do it now. Go ahead.
I think we could wait, man.
What happened?
Paki wants to say, go ahead, Kazuma, go ahead. Tell us why you think it's going to be LeBron James this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's funny because you look at LeBron's stats and they're arguably MVP stats.
No, so there you go, LeBron James. That's it.
But obviously it's a two-man race, and everybody knew that for a couple months now. Russ did something amazing by making history, breaking the most triple-doubles for a season record and averaging a triple-double first person since the Big O.
Leading the league in scoring.
Dope. Leading the league in scoring at the same time.
60 when you lost your best player on the team.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. All that said, I feel like James Harden brings almost the same thing to the table he makes.
That's crazy talk.
Except I feel he trusts his teammates. I feel he trusts his teammates a little bit more. And the system probably helps a lot with that because, it's a let it fly system. But that's my theory. If Westbrook was to give his teammates the ball a little more and let them, get a feel for the game and shoot the ball more, then the confidence would be there. Because Corey Brewer was on the Houston Rockets and he was shooting three-pointers because that's Houston Rockets game style. But when it's just watch Russ go,
there was a part in the Allen Iverson rant where he goes, how does me going to practice make my teammates better? Who the hell cares about making your teammates better when you're going for most valuable player? You're not going for most like teammate. Most valuable player.
Okay, so now.
Singular.
So now my question. Okay, so now I'm asking you. So his goal was to go for most valuable player because you should just be playing and you should just be valuable to your team in that aspect to get that award. It shouldn't be that he was padding stats to get MVP. That's not what it should be.
Well, the way that I see it is James Harden is my MVP, and I'm going to come right out and say it. And although I agree with what you're saying, that's not even the main reason why I'm not giving Westbrook the MVP, because even I've seen players that don't make others better win the MVP awards, like, Allen Iverson and Kobe Bryant, but their teams are in a very much higher seed, or they had much better seasons. Given that, if Westbrook had put Oklahoma City in a third or fourth seed, and I'm stretching it with a fourth, but I'd say third seed or at least, then regardless whether he makes anybody better, you would have to give it to Westbrook hands down, and that's exactly why I have Harden.
I mean, if they was in the third seed, that means that he made the whole team better because they got more wins.
I mean, it's been clear throughout NBA history, number one thing, priority is winning. Oscar Robertson didn't win it when he averaged a triple-double. And, if you go through history, when one of Nash's
don't even
MVP,
get me
Allen
started on
Iverson,
that bullshit. Didn't we talk about what happened last year? That year, at least, at 61 or whatever the hell it was?
Yeah, Nash won two MVPs. In one of them, it was Allen Iverson that was crazy killing it, and then the other one, it was Kobe with like 35 points a game. Even the year that Dirk won it, that Dirk Nowitzki won it, because Dallas Mavericks won 67 games. I remember Kobe had gone crazy that year. I don't remember exactly how much he did, but you can make an argument that it's all about winning. So and don't even get me started on Derrick Rose. I've already mentioned it before with the LeBron James issue. LeBron James' numbers was off the roof. But again, Derrick Rose had to win. So I don't understand why this year you have to switch it. Oh, he made history.
LeBron's numbers were through the roof. You should be off the roof for talking all that garbage. Russell Westbrook MVP.
Yeah. The year Oscar Robertson made history, he made history by being the first ever, and he didn't win it. And that same year, I mean, Will Chamberlain with 50 points and 25 rebounds a game. I don't know how much more history out of that you want. Yeah, that was an MVP worthy either.
Philly didn't make playoffs. Philly didn't make playoffs that year.
It's all about the win. So, no disrespect to Russell Westbrook, man, but if you are in a 6 seed, then simply you're not even a contending team. So
I love all these things you're throwing out there. All of these things make so much sense, but at the end of the day, the MVP award never makes any fucking sense. They just pick whoever the hell they want to go with.
Okay, true, but the only thing that has made sense throughout history is that part.
All you got to do is follow what the reporters are saying towards the end of the year, and that'll tell you your MVP. And all the recent polls are saying Westbrook.
Listen, I made an argument for both, but I didn't pick because I think it's going to be Cole MVP. Yeah, I heard me say it in the chat.
That's a valid prediction. That's a valid prediction. I'm not saying.
I think it's going to be the first time in history.
Yeah,
Derrick Rose, the year that he won, Derrick Rose went out in front of media and said he wanted to win MVP, and they were riding that story the whole year. He just had to be decent that year. They rode that story the whole year, and ultimately, when it came time to vote, they just liked him more. At the time, at least, he was the humble mumbler. He was the hometown hero. He was all these other things. He was not LeBron James. He gets the MVP. It's follow the media, and that'll tell you who the MVP is going to be. Yeah. All of those numbers you got, throw that shit out the window. Print that into a newspaper and wipe your ass with it.
Are we arguing about what our prediction is of who's going to win it, or who we think should win it? Because I also think Russell Westbrook will win it, but I still think that James Harden should win it. You know what I'm saying? So what are we arguing here?
Nothing. You said Westbrook's going to win it. That makes 2 of us, and I think Omar makes 3.
No, but I don't think he should. I think it should be Harden, though.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, whatever. I think you're muted, though.
So why don't you guys? Why you guys don't feel like it's going to be a co-MVP?
Because the way that you vote for MVP, it doesn't permit. Omar, I think you're muted, bro. We can't hear you. The way that you vote for MVP with the first place votes, the second place, there's a fan vote, all that other crap. I don't see a situation where the point system adds up to like an equal score, unless you get like in the same vicinity, and they call that a co-MVP situation. But to get an equal score with all the elements that go into the scoring system, I don't think that happens.
I think it's a long shot
because to Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook to me would be the MVP. Because down the stretch, down the last 2 weeks of the season, he's played the best basketball out of any player in the NBA that we've seen.
I disagree.
The man has, he's won the games by himself, scoring 50, hitting game buzzers.
Yeah, but you
putting the team on his back.
Second. Okay, that's all true, but you are a basketball head, and you know X's and O's. How can you say that Russell Westbrook has played the best basketball in the stretch?
The last 2 weeks of the season, he's been better than James Harden. James Harden he's been slowed down. You know why? Because he has a wrist injury on his left wrist, and it has affected his shooting.
He's been playing for his last
game versus the Clippers, he was 2 of 9 from the field goal. If he hasn't went to the line 14 times, he doesn't score the 18 points that he had in that game. So down the stretch, Russell Westbrook has been better.
But that's if you look. Hold on, Pac. I'm going into that. That's if you look at the stat box. But if you're watching the game, I know you're not saying Russell Westbrook plays the best basketball by watching games.
I mean, Russell Westbrook is the type of player that if you're a coach, it's like, no, don't do it. Oh, thank God it worked. You know, it's like okay. Right. It's like, shit, I can't tell you anything because it worked, but that's not what you were supposed to do. That's not what I called. So I mean, basketball-wise, I wouldn't agree that he's played the best basketball. Has he been productive? Yes, he has.
Listen, but James Harden has a way of
forcing it.
Yeah, James Harden has a way of playing a little less electric than Russell Westbrook. It may look more systematic, but do you honestly think that they're running like a whole bunch of plays for him? Cousin Juan just said it. They're a let-it-fly offense. Yeah, outside of the pick and roll, they run transition, and whatever happens.
Yeah, that's true. But
I believe James Harden's a better.
I want to kill him right here. That's true. But when you're playing Phoenix and you're down and you're the best player in the team, but you're still missing 2 assists for a triple-double, why are you letting go of wide open threes and you're under the basket, you're penetrating to the rim for a layup, and you're passing it out to force an assist when you have a clear basket right there? Like, he literally was able to put the ball like just right up there on the board, and he passed it out to I think it was Steven Adams. That's why I'm saying that Russell Westbrook is not exactly what you're saying, because he is literally chasing the stats. Don't tell me that
game wasn't even close, though. I mean, at that point,
it wasn't even close because he's chasing his triple-double.
No, at that point, it wasn't even close.
It wasn't close.
Phoenix had one hell of a first half that game. The only thing that you could do is, since you're already playing the minutes, try to go for history.
Dude, Atlanta came back from a 26-point deficit versus the Cavs. Of course, it wasn't even close, but he wasn't playing to win. He was
talking in the last minutes, though,
like
that. Yeah, I just told you. At that point, the only thing you could do is pad your stats. You weren't winning that game.
Oh yeah. And as soon as listen, if you look at the game, as soon as he got
he didn't go about it against the Magic like that.
As soon as he has his double-digit assists. As soon as he has his double-digit assists and double-digit rebounds, he will start shooting that ball from anywhere to pad up the numbers, the points, to get to as many as he can. Of course, he'll have an assist here and there, a rebound here and there. But once he's got the double-double secured with the assists and rebounds, now it's all about shooting. He'll take any shot to get as many shots and as many points as he can to, again, pad the stats, even if he has wide-open players.
I don't think he does that at the cost of winning. Remember, they win the games that he has the triple-doubles in.
No, he does that at the cost of winning.
No.
Listen.
Yeah.
I don't even want to go that hard, Pac. I haven't noticed it like that. I noticed it that game. I won't lie. I noticed it that game. So the theory, JJ's theory, it could be true that, there's nothing else to play for, and, might as well pad your stats. But what I would tell you is that the problem is he's such a great talent, and he believes in himself so much. He doesn't trust he doesn't trust his teammates. The plays, and I don't think he feels.
When he trusts them, when he's missing 2 assists, he trusts everybody there. Why the hell are you kicking the ball out to Steven Adams, look, when you just got a ball right under the rim? Alone. What?
I told you, at that point they were losing by 20 points. What's the point of?
Okay.
making it 18 with 5 minutes left or whatever it was. I don't even remember like the exact details, but there was nothing else to play for there. Like I think most of the stars were on the bench anyway. He was playing basically solo for the stats.
I was arguing with a friend of mine. He's like, no, but Russell Westbrook leads the league in PER. He's the most efficient player. I'm like, all right. You know, the rebounds help pad his PER. Do you really think Russell Westbrook is a better rebounder than Steven Adams in his own team? Even though he averages 3 or 4 more rebounds than Steven Adams? No, they clear the path for him and he gets the rebounds. It's fixed stats. They don't tell the whole story, you know? You compare a LeBron James triple-double to a Russell Westbrook triple-double.
Man, you call that padding stats. I call that shit leadership. He tells his players, listen, you know what side the bread is buttered on. You better make sure I get this rebound if you want these passes.
That is by design. The rebounds, they let Russell Westbrook get it by design so that he could initiate the offense right away. One of his best weapons is getting the rebound.
And going. He's the fastest nigga. He's one of the fastest niggas with the ball.
So it's by design that they take away from him.
I've been doing that. I've been doing that. They trying to get the ball in as soon as possible. Cause as a basketball player myself, I'm fast as shit, so I need the ball as soon as possible so I can get my ass down court. I don't want to give them time to set up. You know what I'm saying? I want to get them while they're backpedaling. But even saying that, what's your argument for the free throws? When they line them up for the free throws?
Pure energy and will during the game. I'll take Russell Westbrook over James Harden. His will to win
you'll take Russell Westbrook over everybody then. You'll take Russell Westbrook over everybody then.
Yeah, I would
say James Harden. For that, you'll take Russell Westbrook over. For that, you'll take Russell Westbrook over everyone.
I would.
Dude.
I would do that. I would take Russell Westbrook over everybody.
Not over anyone. There's a couple of things I'll still take over him.
Derrick Rose, Dirk Nowitzki, and Steve Nash.
For what you just said. For what you just said. Who?
The will to win?
The will to win, and what else you said?
And going hard.
Yeah, basically.
I'll take Tim Tebow.
With that.
You heard what he just said? You heard who he just named? He named the quietest person ever. Like,
dude, yeah.
You cannot compare that, bro. You're comparing a mosquito to a dynamite, bro.
Kawhi Leonard is a killer.
But he's not a dynamite. Like, Russell Westbrook is gonna explode, bro.
So isn't James Harden a killer? Does he have to make all that little dances?
Right, exactly. See how dumb? Yo.
No, he's not.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat.
I mean, come on, dude. James Harden is a freaking beast. He's a beast. What are you talking about? Like James Harden is just stone cold.
He is a beast. He's just a smaller beast than Westbrook is.
Down the line to score the winning buckets.
And if you're going to make an argument for James Harden, listen, if you're going to make an argument for James Harden being in a system, then you can't make an argument for Russell Westbrook saying that he's getting his rebounds out of a system. So if you're designing for Harden and he's producing, and you're designing for Russell Westbrook and he's getting rebounds, then again, we're in the same situation, and I got to give it to the guy with more wins. You can't apply a system theory for one guy and not for the other.
It's not that they want him to get
that's a system thing. If it's designed, it's a system thing. And maybe not you, but everybody is on the triple-double train. I mean, come on, give me a break with the damn triple-double. Yeah. That's not an MVP.
I don't know why this upsets you so much.
You won fantasy league with Russell Westbrook and the triple doubles. I understand why you could talk about that.
Say it louder.
I just want everybody to know that Jay rigged the fantasy.
What? I'm sorry, you're breaking up. You're not coming through clearly. I'm sorry.
We got video.
We can't hear Omar. Hello.
And I'm pretty sure that everybody.
Last thing I heard was I won the fantasy season. That's it. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to run with it. I run fantasy season. Russell Westbrook MVP. Follow the Unofficial Commentators on YouTube at Unofficial Commentators. Follow us on Twitter at UC_podcast. Follow us on SoundCloud, Unofficial Commentators. We're still on Podomatic, Unofficial Commentators. Unofficial Commentators at gmail.com. Follow Cousin Juan, So Loyal Mingo. He has the Report Card podcast. He's on So Loyal Clothing, one of our sponsors as well. Paki, El Reyes 44 on Twitter. Hit him up on the email. Tell him what you want him to talk about next. Tell him how wrong he is. Comment on the YouTube section. Omar has a Twitter handle as well. He's always following the Twitter closely, especially if you mention the Heat. If you wanted to pay attention, just drop @Heat on it, and he'll talk about it. he'll turn it into reality. Omar, what's your Twitter?
You can catch me at Omar Paulino, Omar_Paulino at Twitter.
Don't even know your Twitter handle. Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So is that everywhere where we're at?
Yeah, my closing argument for anybody still listening after however long this episode was, please let Omar know in the comments below that Miami Heat, if they would have made the playoffs, they were not going to take Cleveland to 7 games. He believes Miami Heat were going to take Cleveland.
You want me to bring Heat Twitter to the comment section? I'll bring it. I will bring Heat Twitter to the comment section.
Bring him to the comment section.
Hey, I tell you this much. If they would have paid Wade, they would have been in the playoffs.
Woo!
Now we probably win. Check this out. The Bulls got better when Wade went out. How's that?
But the Bulls is in the playoffs. Wade in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wade in the playoffs.
Was out for the season. He magically came back, right?
And the Heat and the Knicks are out.
Two different
so they are equally out, and Wade is in.
The league conspired. They don't want to see the Heat win.
Let's keep this in the comment section, guys. Let's keep it in the comment section. JT,
I'm bringing Heat to
Stay tuned to the next episode, guys, where we discuss why the hell we're still Knicks fans. Yo, this is JJ98.
Yo, plenty of room in the bandwagon down in Miami. I left Knicks a long time ago.
They're a bunch of losers. What am I going to do? Go vacation in Miami? Guys, see you next week. Peace.